It's about time.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Quick Cast Episode 9. My name is Jeremy Paul, aka Sleepy Juice, and this is StarCraft 2, so let's go ahead and get into it. Now, today we're going to be looking at a ZVT between our Terran player Twister and our blue Zerg and hero Lakota, and I'm hoping I said that right. And today, as we watch the drones run around and play tag with the SCVs, we're going to be looking at a game on Derelict Watcher, and we'll kind of go into that in a minute. Now, this is my first full-on Masters levels game that we're recasting, so hopefully everything comes out good, and we see if the SCV is going to get picked off here. And the drone goes around one more time, try to get away from that other SCV, but this one's going to pull out. And quickly, he switches the other SCV to building that command center. Now, Derelict Watcher is basically a 2v2, or 1v1 map, basic. It has two towers that cover outside points, and we'll be looking more for middle ground kind of attack paths. Now, the open area between the natural is fairly large, so you'll get a lot of engagements in that. So right outside the natural, leading into that third, there's a wide open spot. We do have some thinner alleyways that go between the two bases in the middle of the map, so you can do a little bit of choke work there. Baneling bombs, Colossi and force field, those kind of things. Now, we do have the Zerg player going for a quick hatch, and hatch first, going into then the spawning pool and then getting some gas for speed. Meanwhile, we do see the Terran going very similar. We have him going for a command center first after seeing the hatch first, and he's going to be going into a barracks play into probably a 1-1-1. He is dropping the bunker there in the front. Now, for quick cast, we like to go over a single topic every single time to go through what can be taken from this game to actually help lower league players and new players get more into the game. And today we're going to be talking about confidence, and confidence in ZVT from the Terran perspective and how that kind of portrays itself. Now, we do have the Zerg player here moving out with his initial 4 lings, and he's going to be checking out what's going on. We do have a barracks and a factory coming down for the Terran player. Now, he's going to end up making, I'm assuming, some sort of add-on. Yeah, so there we go. We have a reactor coming down. Now, most commonly, this is going to be used to make Hellions when the factory's finished, but it can go into a bunch of different things. We'll see what he does. We do have speed coming down for the Zerg player also. Now, there is no third base taken yet for the Zerg, which means he's going to be going probably at this point for a little bit of 2-base action. It's very common right now to see things like TLO's 2-base Muta play, where you can actually get a really good scout off with that Muta and then decide what you're going to do from that point. It's a very strong build. We do have a spine crawler coming down from the Zerg player, and this is going to allow him to be a little bit more defensive in that spot. He is kind of losing a drone for that, but it saves him from having to make more queens or make lings, and instead he can use that larva for drones, which is what he wants. He wants to get those drones. Now, he does have the layer tech coming down already. Now, this is going to indicate that he is going for some sort of tech here probably before he gets 3 base, and I wouldn't be surprised if for Muta, because if we think about the metagame at this point, we do have Zergs going very commonly for Speedlings, Banelings, and Mutas, and then building up in the higher tech units like Ultralisks. Meanwhile, the Terran players usually end up going one of 2 ways, and as we see, we have a third command center coming down for this Terran player. This is very indicative of an innovation-style Hellion perhaps. We do have 2 Hellions on the field already. He's going to basically push with these Hellions, try to get an idea of what's going on with the Zerg player, check out, keep the queens from doing a whole lot of creep spreading. Now, with the buff to the queens at the beginning of HOTS or even the middle of Wings of Liberty, that's changed. We do see that Spire coming down now, guys, so we do see it's going to be a 2-base Muta, and we'll go into that in a second. But this build here from the Terran player is basically used to go into a bio. So he's going to get Hellions, and he's going to try to control the map, get good scouting information, keep the creep spread down, and force units. He wants force lings, and as we see, we got a bunch of lings coming out now. They're trying to surround the Hellions, and the Hellions are going to be able to get out of there. Once they're off creep, they're fairly safe, and another good blast there from the other one saves all 4 of those Hellions. Now, the reason this leads good in the bio plays, because these Hellions, as they're getting control of the map, we drop 2 more barracks. We throw down that third command center, which actually should be getting close to moving out at this point, because we also get stim, and we drop down some engineering bays soon, and we get or the engineering bay is already down. We get 1-1 for the Marines, so that we can control that third base with stim and 1-1. You see here the upgrades coming down. Now for the Zerg player, going Mutalist before third, and then we see the third is down now, but the Spire is already finishing up. What it allows us to do is it allows us to actually go through and check the tech quickly. So we don't even need the scout so much before the Mutalists are out. We try to keep droning, just droning, get those mutas out. We are getting the upgrade for the attack for the mutas. They're that valuable. And what we do is, and we have the Hellions poke in there but pull back out. The mutas are going to go into the Terran base, see what's going on. If he sees he's going bio, he's going to drop down a Baneling nest, and he's going to go into the standard Speedlings, Banelings, and Muta play. But if he sees a mech build coming out of the Terran player, then he'll end up going into something a little bit more diversified, a little bit something we don't see often. Usually Swarm Host is a really good answer. If you stick with the Banelings and Mutas against mech, it tends not to be very cost effective. We do have the Mutas coming across now, and they're going to poke into the main base here and see what they can find. And it looks like we do have a nice little supply depot here for picking off. Now this is just a little victory, just supply block the Terran a little bit. Now the Terran at this point in the game is going to know you're going for mutas. You're not up to 3 base full saturation yet. He's able to peek in and see you only have lings and spine crawlers. Those things kind of indicate that there's mutas going on. Now we do have the third base in full effect now. The gases are coming down. This is going to allow us to get upgrades and other units and like the Baneling nests and tech. Now this build with the mutas coming out first is a little bit behind on upgrades, so you have to be really cost effective with your trades to get that back. And what we see now is, because Biomine is so popular as a follow-up to this Hellion harass, and all those Zerglings just get roasted there, and there goes down a few more. It looks like he's going to poke out there. Now the Hellions are going to come back, and they're going to get picked up by these mutas. These mutas are going to take out all of them, it looks like. All 3 of those ones go down. We do have one coming up to the top, and that one's going to get away. The loss of those Hellions is fairly large. First off, we have the problem of losing map control. Now the mutas have complete map control, and as you see, as soon as it happens, we have a 4th base coming down for the Zerg player. Besides that, we are also going to have trouble holding that third. All we have are our Stim Marines now, and the Hellions kind of take care of the Lings while the while the Marines' jobs kind of keep the mutas at bay. We do see he's going to try to throw down the third anyways, but it's being dunked up by the Overlord, which is great awareness by the Zerg player. We do have the mutas coming now back into the main base. It looks like we have a Widowmine wall. The one Widowmine looks like it's going to go off and hit the Overseer, but that's taken out. This next Widowmine's taken out before it can shoot. This final one's taken out good. The turret's going to be taken out also. The mutas are pulling through. There is another Widowmine there. It takes out the Overseer, so that Widowmine's going to be safe, and it looks like the Marines are going to come in and chase off these mutas, but not before it takes out a refinery there. Now we do see 1-1 coming down for, 2-2 starting to come down for the Marines. 1-1 is already done, and we see that our units loss is pretty even at this point, but we do have a higher worker count for the Zerg player, and he has map control now, so he's going to be able to hold that Terran player at bay for the most part. He'll know when he's coming out. Now we do see a couple Banelings coming out. This is not normally a common thing where you see just random Banelings waddling out. Normally they're in a pack. We'll see what he does with these. Oh, and he's going to burrow them. So not only does that give sight for that area, but should you happen to get a walkover, that's an incredibly effective trade. Now we do have the mutas coming in again, and they're going to take out another turret. We do have the Marines there to kind of hold them off, but that constant harassment is making all those mutas sit in the main base. We do have some more Banelings coming out. Now, we're trying to talk about the confidence level of Terrans dealing with Muta, Baneling, and Ling while going bio. You have your Marines, they're going to be good. We lost that Hellion, and we do have the mutas coming in again. It looks like they're going to go after a reactor this time, try to take care of getting those mines production slowed down and pull back out again. Great guerrilla tactics there. That's exactly what you need to make up for those late upgrades. And it looks like that one was seen, so the Terran player is going to come in and shoot down those Banelings. There are still other Banelings around, so he'll know exactly when he's pulling out, or moving out of the base there. And again, the mutas. So the confidence level for this Terran player is low at this point. He's having to hold units into the main base to just keep these mutas at bay. These mutas are just now rolling over Terran units. They have a high enough number, and the Terran army is not put together. Meanwhile, the third base is completely vulnerable because it only has a little bit of the army left there in that giant area between the two bases. Now, having that area is good, in fact, of splitting so that you can avoid massive baneling hits. And we see the Hellion there seeing the fifth base for the Zerg player going up. He has his map control. He can do that. We have the army here moving out, and it's going to roll right over these banelings. Vision was seen there, but nothing as far as the hit. Now we do see Thors coming out as these mutas are poking. Another beautiful thing about muta harass is you can see the tech choices as they're coming out of the buildings. Now Thors are going to be good for dealing with the mutas. There's things to negate the amount of damage like magic boxing, but overall Thors are going to be good. Now the problem with Thors as a choice is they use a completely different set of upgrades from the Marines and the Bio. Now we do have those links going into the third, and they're going to be cleaned up because the bunker there had a nice surround by the workers. Great job there. And we do have this army here coming up against the fifth base of the Zerg army, but it's just not enough. We haven't had any harassment from the Terran player. There's been no drops. There's been nothing else. Now, great split off here to chase down these drones. He's also going to get a queen and a muta, it looks like, and the other muta is going to come in, not wanting to engage those Marines with the medevacs directly with the mines underneath them, so they're going to pull back, and it looks like he's going to set up a flank. He has some units coming around to the left on the bottom of the ramp, and he's going to move these mutas off to the right and try to sandwich them. There's the banelings and the lings down at the bottom of the ramp on the left there, and he is coming to move in. Great flank. Now let's see if we can see. Alright, so those Marines, good splitting. The banelings coming with great hits, and it looks like those mutas are going to just clean up everything else. The two medevacs get out of there, but it looks like everything else is cleaned up. Now, that's a great trade right there for the Zerg player, but losing that base puts him down at 4 again. He's still one base ahead of the Terran player, so it's not horrible. Now, that Thor, like we were saying before, is not a very mobile unit, so again, we're just sitting at home with our base. When we're fighting mutas, we want to be out there, and we are going to push out here and catch some banelings, which is nice. A good baneling connection there takes out a large chunk of Marines, but he's able to kill off a bunch. Now, the mutas are coming in again to the third base, and they're going to start cleaning up these turrets so that they have a higher chance of killing workers. The bunker's already gone, and he's going to pick off here. Now, here comes some Marines push in, but again, we're having more of that Terran army trapped at home. When we're dealing with mutas, we want to be forcing engagements. We want to have that map control. We want to push them back to their base. The mutas can just fly away unless you're killing their base. If they have to fight you, they're not going to be able to fly away and heal. So that's why we want to be dropping. We want to have aggression. We want to have that confidence to put the Zerg in our game. Right now, we're just sitting behind waiting to die at this point. Another stim there to try to catch those mutas, and they're going to get away again. Now, we do have the fifth base coming down again for the Zerg player, which is great. He's going to continue on his basically, when you're ahead is the saying for StarCraft, so get more ahead. So the macro is going down there. We do have lings and banelings coming in here, and they're going to knock out a bunch of this army at the front, and they're going to roll into the natural at this point. The banelings come up and hit the bunker, take it down, and it looks like we have a good connection there, but not a whole lot after that point. But we do have some banelings burrow down right here, so let's see. Oh, and he's pulling back to deal with the mutas. The mutas come in back to the third and harass some worker line there. And there he goes. He's healing that bunker, fixing the bunker. Now we do have these banelings right here next to the. There's no turret, nothing to sense the banelings. Unless he uses a scan. Now we do have the Terran fourth base coming down here, and we have a ling right here. Oh, perfect timing, burrowing down to just keep an eye on it. The mutas are still harassing, still causing problems in this third base, still keeping that Terran player pinned back. He could load up a medevac and drop it and deal a little bit of damage to the Zerg player, and he should be doing that. That confidence, that aggression, that he knows he can go out and be fine. But at this point, he's not feeling safe. He's not feeling secure. He's feeling totally harassed. So he's able to... Oh, the baneling goes off there and takes out a huge chunk of the army. The scan goes down, but nothing's left there. All those banelings go off. We do have the mutas coming in, and they're going to take out the fourth base. Now, this fourth base has nothing defending it at this point because all that army is pinned back to hold down the third, and it goes down, and the mutas just get out of there without taking a single loss. Great job there by the muta player, the Zerg player. We have Lakota just doing a wonderful, it's a class on how to keep the Terran player second-guessing himself and pinned back. The Terran player had to make Thors to deal with mutas, and he cannot go walking around the map because they will take forever to get back home. So He is now actually going to hold that fourth, send the defense force down there to get that command center up, because he's going to need that money. It's already at the 22-minute mark, so his main's basically mined out at this point. Now both of them are sitting at about the same amount of workers, so the economy is going to be equivalent. The problem is Terran's going to need those bases for the mules to kind of get the most out of their economy. Now, we do have the Mutas coming back in, and the Terran player, besides that one push out, has done no aggression whatsoever, and these Mutas fly into a bad situation there, but again, because they're penned back, the Mutas can just leave. There's no reason. Meanwhile, we have units going into the third and into the natural. The units in the third are going to go up there, good pull on the SCVs, but they're all lined up, and here come the Banelings, and all those SCVs go down, and it looks like this command center is going to be forfeited also. Meanwhile, we have those Banelings burrowing right there. Now, the Marines are going to come back into the natural. He's deciding that that's a more important part, and he's going to end up cleaning up that. That's more than enough units there. He does still have those Banelings down there, and the Mutas are coming in and trying to take out the turrets on the fourth. The Terran player's just getting pulled every which way. There's 29 workers dead after that gigantic Baneling blast on the third base there. The fourth base goes down again, and although the Mutas are a little bit trapped here, they are so fast. They're able to pull down and just get right out to the right there. Excellent job. We do have a bunch of Zerglings still over here, and they're going to try to get out of there before getting caught, due to the fact that, oh no, they're just going to go into the natural and see what they can find. We do have a bunch of units there and some mines. Oh, and one good mine blast takes out the entire group of Banelings. Mines are just incredibly good. Even with the nerf coming up, I still think that mines will probably, just due to the fact they can hit Mutas also, will probably still be very common in this matchup. The more mech we see, we are seeing more like Swarm Hosts and Infestor, which kind of, oh, a great Baneling blast there, taking out a whole nother chunk of the Marines. And it looks like the Terran player's not creating another fourth base. He's just going to move out. He's not using any scans. There's no detection here, and another one goes down. There's one more there, and there's another one right after the stim, and it looks like the army here, we have Banelings making the Mutas coming in on top, trying to focus down the Thors, and that's it. It's just cleanup work at this point. That was a great game. The Terran player was pulled in too many directions, losing the Hellions at the beginning of the game, completely lost map control, and that's just thrown him behind, bashed his confidence. You could tell he wasn't aggressive. He made no drops. He only had 2 pushes. The first one took out a base and then got entirely wiped out, and then the second one just was Baneling blasted to death. And it was great trades from the Zerg player. Going through, he knew he had to make good trades to get back on upgrade level with the Terran player. He did a great job at that. The Muta harass was perfect. Left the Terran player split up. He was never able to get up a fourth base. He was constantly having to leave Marines and Thors and mines inside his natural and in his third. It was a great job. I'm very happy I got to cast that game. So, for you guys that are just watching, please follow me on Twitter and Facebook. It's there on the screen. Also, like and subscribe to my video. It lets me know you guys like them and I should make more. And feel free to email me, which is also, I believe, down below. And it's where it says YouTube. You can actually email me there at just jeremy.paul.tv@gmail.com and send me some games to cast. I love the games to cast, and I just need the practice. So until we talk next time, you guys go out, play games, and have fun.